Have a day off from the plants. It's a Sunday and we are exploring the Wegerzyn Gardens in Dayton, Ohio on Siebenthaler Road. So I'm going to put where it's at and the location and the spelling of the place here so that you can look at it because I cannot pronounce it. So it is a really cool place. It's a beautiful area, lots of shrubs and different plants and landscaping. It's a pretty place. This right here is peewee hydrangea. So they grow about 4 to 5 feet tall, and they also grow in part sun, part shade. So it is a great hedge hydrangea to plant around your home. These are Zabrina Musa bananas. And if you water them indoors here in Ohio, they'll get that big if you take them out. A lot of people put them in big pots and then they haul them in and put them back out in the summer and they get really large. Shrubbery garden, there's so many different types of ferns, crotons, bromeliads, banana plants, and then on top of the roof is my favorite. That has all the different sedums planted on top of their living roof. Such a cool place. The sensory garden. All the different herbs and various things for the senses. A huge philodendron. Check out its leaves. The music maze. Asclepias for bees. So we are back home, and one thing that we noticed from gardens all over is the one thing that they all have in common, even with our flowers here, that plants crave water. And during the heat of the summer, especially the past couple of days and even today where temperatures are reaching up to 90 degrees, it is hot and we need to be watering our plants consistently and thoroughly. So in this next tips in this video, we are sharing about how to keep your plants alive as we go through this summer heat. So let's take a moment to think about how you are staying alive in this summer heat. Maybe it's in a pool like we have here. Perhaps it's standing in front of the fan all day, standing in front of the AC, or maybe it's drinking a lemonade while you scroll through Facebook and Instagram. However you are beating the heat, one thing's for sure, it is hot and we are trying to stay alive. So tip number 1, plants crave water. Like people do, plants crave water as well. Our recommendations for watering on a hot day is water deeply in the morning. We recommend watering in the morning because if you water at night, plants are more prone to disease and rot, as some of the plants will carry wet feet throughout the night. Like petunias, they'll carry wet feet throughout the night and more disease will collect in their leaves. So we always recommend watering your plants deeply in the morning. Some plants do need to be watered a second time. There is containers that will dry out easily during the day with just one watering. So that is maybe gives you an exception of watering again. But all your other plants, we highly recommend watering in the morning. Also, watering your plants in the morning allows your plants to use that water to keep hydrated throughout the day. We always have questions. If I'm watering every day, what if I overwater? To check that, when you go to water your containers, check your soil about 1 to 2 inches deep. And if it is dry to about 1 to 2 inches, that means you need to water your containers. On watering, a cup of water every day on your plants is not enough. Let's talk about actually soaking your plants well, especially your hanging baskets. When you go to water your containers and your hanging baskets, you want to make sure that you're watering enough that the water comes out of the bottom of the pot, out of the drainage hole, not off the sides, but out of the bottom. You could even water your containers slowly so you know that your water is going through, and you want to hold it on there for just a few minutes so that your water starts going out of the bottom of the container. Now this container is this basket is faster because it is a moss basket. On another note about watering, some of your perennials, like your hydrangeas, crave water as well. And just because they've been established in your area for about 3 to 4 years, it doesn't mean that they don't crave water. So your plants, your perennials, your hydrangeas, your shrubs that are planted in the ground, that have been established for a while, you want to make sure that you are watering and soaking them as well during those hot days. So what we do with our hydrangeas, we'll put our hose on soaker like this right here, put it on our hydrangeas, we'll just let it sit there 20 minutes to an hour. And as it sits there and it soaks all the way in, that keeps our hydrangeas looking perky and beautiful all summer long. And you can do this really to all of your perennials. Let the hose sit there on your hydrangeas or any of your perennials for about 20 minutes to an hour, and let it soak in and let it water the earth. And so that those plants will stay perky and beautiful throughout the summer. Watering plants in the ground, you want to make sure that you are soaking your plants in the ground as well. So our rain gradually throughout the week is not enough to keep your plants alive. So slowly soak your plants consistently and let the water soak into the ground around them. Is when we are watering, where we will water parts of our flower bed, finish watering the other part of the flower bed, and then go back to where we first started and soak everything again. So it's getting about 2 different soaks throughout our watering period in that flower bed. The biggest reasons that we see customers struggle with their plants in their landscape or in their flower gardens or in their vegetable gardens is that they are not watering enough. Every garden is different, every flower bed, every container is different, and every person watering, they water differently. Soaking your plants thoroughly and well each time you water, then you are less likely to have to water again. But if you lightly water your plants, let's say give your fiddle fig a cup of water that is recommended by Pinterest, then you are going to have to water that plant again either that day or the next day, just so that your plant is getting enough water during those hottest parts of the day. For watering, it is important that we are watering thoroughly and consistently when we water. What you can do with your garden, especially during the hottest parts of the day, is hook up a soaker hose and run it through your rows and let it soak throughout the day. You can also set it on a timer for every hour to soak your garden. Hook up a sprinkler and let it run in the morning on those really hot days for about 20 minutes to an hour, just soaking into the earth, giving it plenty of water so that when we go through those hot periods during the day at 96 degrees, they have plenty of water to keep them hydrated to get them through to the next watering. Driving down the road and I'm looking at other people's plants and flowers as we are driving. That's one thing we do notice about hanging baskets that are dying on someone's front porch. It's not the location. The plants are not in the wrong location. It's that they weren't consistently watered. Hard it is when you have so many billion other things to do, but watering in the morning and making it a priority, you will see success in your plants. You can do for your plants is during the hottest parts of the day, especially with containers. You can't really do this with the ground, but with your containers, you can pull them into a shady area, or you could even throw a shade cloth over your plants to keep the hot sun from burning and scorching their leaves. Another thing you can do to keep your plants alive during the summer is feed your plants. So plants crave food too. And so we recommend feeding your plants once every 2 weeks. That encourages your plants, especially your petunias and calibrachoa, plants that thrive on food, to feed them well to keep them green and looking healthy throughout the summer and throughout the growing season. This is Petunia Feed by Jack's brand. We actually use this brand and we recommend it. So this is a highly recommended brand of fertilizer. And so we suggest adding this to your watering regimen and feeding your plants as well as soaking them well. Don't forget to water. So another tip on keeping your plants looking prime even when the hot days scorch your blooms and things look a little bit past their prime, it is giving them a nice pruning. And so with your roses, again, we talked about this in our earlier videos. You can actually go back to our episode on roses and care, and you can take a look at that. But on roses, you want to go to the 5 leaves, and you can actually trim that, and that encourages your roses to keep continuing to produce more beautiful blooms. And we also recommend that with most of your plants, even your petunias and other plants as well, giving them a good trim so that it keeps bushing out and getting full. Same goes for your beautiful petunias, giving them a nice trim. Petunias especially start looking a little bit straggly and a little sad, so taking a pair of scissors or clippers and then start trimming them back actually encourages your petunias to keep getting full, bushing out, and really filling out of the pot. And you can actually watch this video as well. We talk about petunias in care in an episode on petunias. And so this is really important on all your plants to keep trimming them back so that they will continue to bush out, get full, and perform well for you the rest of the season. Tips for success in your plants in the garden when it is super hot would be watering your plants well and thoroughly and consistently, and fertilizing your plants, feeding your plants, giving them the nutrients that they need, pruning and maintaining your plants for better success throughout the growing season. I'm Caitlin Miller with MillerFlowers here in Greenville, Ohio, and thank you for watching my video. Remember to subscribe and see you next time.